Abridged statement number 01-22204, put to paper on April 22nd, 2012 by one Nathan Watts. Audio recording by Jessica Marshall, intern of the Escher Foundation, Western Branch, Sacramento.
This all happened a couple years ago, a whole continent away, so I'm sorry if the details are a bit off. I mean, I think I remember it clearly, but things are so weird that you start to doubt yourself. Still, I suppose weird is kind of what you guys do, right?
I'm studying at University of California in Davis, biochemistry specifically, and I was in my second year at the time this happened. I was renting a student flat out here in Sacramento with a few other sophomores from Sac State. Let's just say I don't go out much. But some nights, you just have to party. Michael McCulley, a good friend of mine, had just been accepted to his master's program, so we decided a celebration was in order. Well, maybe party isn't quite the right word. We just kind of invaded a bar down on the river.
What are you saying? What's up, man?
Right. That's normal.
Long story short, I was violently ill around midnight, and made the decision to walk the street a bit to clear my head. The night was certainly cool enough for it. However, in retrospect, the fall wasn't bad compared to what it could have been, but at the time, it really shook me up. I hadn't seriously injured myself, no broken bones or anything, and decided to roll a cigarette to calm myself.
Can I have a cigarette?
They seemed to sway ever so slightly.
You alright with a roller?
Can I have a cigarette?
If you want it, come get it.
Can I have a cigarette?
I staggered back up to the main road, which still had lights and cars, and found a taxi to take me home. After making my way through 2 liters of water, some painkillers, and a very greasy breakfast, I felt human enough to leave my apartment and go to investigate the place in daylight. The result was unenlightening. There were no marks, no bloodstains, nothing to indicate that the swaying figure had ever been there at all. The only thing I did find was an unsmoked Marlboro Red cigarette, lying just below a burned-out light fixture. I never did find out anything else about it, but a few days later I saw some missing persons appeals go up around campus. A student had disappeared. John Fellows. I didn't really know the guy. Couldn't tell you much about him, except for two things that struck me as very important. He had been at the same party, and as far as I remembered, had still been there when I left. The other was just that, well, on the photo they used for his missing persons appeals, I couldn't help but notice that there was a pack of Marlboro Red cigarettes poking out of his pocket.
I haven't stopped smoking, but I do find that I take a lot more taxis now if I find myself out late at night.
Statement ends. That was an experience and a half, for sure. That man swaying. Well, regardless, there isn't much that I can add here. It says a follow-up should be conducted, but again, the statement's from the UK and no contact information was listed. Not that I would reach out. I doubt my line can go international. Missing person reports were filed around the same time of the statement, all up and down the Sacramento River. Now, while drunk and otherwise intoxicated, people disappearing around a river isn't all that impossible. The lack of bodies and sudden drop of disappearances in 2010 does seem to indicate a menace stalking the waterways. And from all accounts, police had thought this and opened an investigation. Old college buddy of mine owed me a favor, so I managed to pull what they had found. Granted, it isn't all that much, but what they did find was a photo taken by one of the victims. While police labeled it irrelevant, I took the liberty of running it through Photoshop and try to get the image to come through better, revealing a stretched, pale hand floating at the waist height of a man. And while it is hard to make out, I can't help but see it beckoning. Jessica Marshall, out.